Okay, so this question has to be asked. How on earth is this show just getting better and better and better as the episodes go on? I do not understand that. Like, this was the best episode of the whole show so far, and it's absolutely mind blowing. Anyway, hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and it is of course Daredevil Day. Well, the day I watched Daredevil Born Again, and of course today I watched episode 8, Isle of Joy. Uh, the mayor is throwing a black and white ball as he not only gains more power um, in front of the public eye, but also behind the scenes as well. And it is up to Matt to try and put all the pieces together to pin down who is really pulling the strings. So, this episode was absolutely crazy. Uh, from what I remember hearing about, like all the creative stuff that happened, the creative shakeup for the show. Dario Scartapane, who was I had misspoken all the way back in my episode 1 review, that he worked on the original run of Daredevil. No, he worked on the Punisher show, and then was brought on to do the reshoots and kind of do rewrites and everything during the creative overhaul for the show. Um, he wrote this episode, and Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who are also executive producers on this show, directed this episode. And gosh, it was really, really well directed. Really well directed. Every single time that we cut to Poindexter, the lighting goes blue for just a brief second, which I thought was really, really cool. Um, in this episode, like Matt's relationship with Heather is kind of raveling because, he's trying to keep the secret that, he is Daredevil. Um, Heather is invited to the mayor's ball, and while Matt is keeping secrets from Heather, Fisk decides to get everything out in the open. He takes Vanessa to where he was keeping Adam locked up, including Rabbit in a Snowstorm, in the back, which I love the fact that they kind of call this back in the final shots of this episode, which I'll get to in a little bit. But as soon as they walked down there, I was like, there has to be a gun on the table. And sure enough, Vanessa shoots Adam while in the cell. And essentially, Vanessa and Fisk kiss and make up. They're all good now. Matt's starting to lose it a little bit. He's showing up late, got bruises on his face, talking rough, or not talking rough, just talking mean to clients at his firm, and everything is unraveling. He's outside of Josie's, of course, the place where the incident took place, and Matt goes inside and has a few drinks. Cherry walks in and basically tells Matt, "Look, you're throwing your life away for all of this going on. Like, I see you as a guy in pain. I don't want that from you." And Josie decides to bring out some O'Melvenies. Now, if you remember, Foggy and Matt drank that only when they won cases. And he was drinking it the night of the incident. Foggy knew he was going to win that case with Dumb Benny. So, who set up the hit on Foggy? Well, Matt goes to talk to Poindexter. And Poindexter is not giving him a straight answer. He is not giving him a straight answer. And by the time, well, I shouldn't say by the time the guard shows up, what basically happens is Matt bashes Poindexter's head into the table, knocks on the door and says, "Guard." He's just started banging his head on the table, and that gets Poindexter taken away. And I also love the fact that um, Poindexter was like, "It was nice meeting you, counselor," and then Matt just immediately gives him a "fuck you," just like, "I don't want to hear anything from you." Um, but much like in The Dark Knight, when Batman smashed Joker's head into that glass, bashing Poindexter's head into that table was a very big mistake on Matt's part, because it broke a tooth. He spat that tooth into the eye of a doctor that was giving him stitches on his forehead, and he was able to break himself free and escape from prison. Um, Meanwhile, at the ball, Matt is overhearing Fisk making some dealings with some wealthy individuals, trying to not only, because he has the public funds, but he needs private investors for the Red Hook project. So basically, Fisk is bullying people into supporting his Red Hook project, including Jacques Duquesne, swordsman. You might remember him from an earlier episode in the series, but he is also in the Hawkeye series as well. So I like that little interconnection right there. Um, by and I also love the fact that Matt is trying to get at Fisk, and he has a pretty good shot at it, but the band starts up, and Vanessa's like, "Oh, let's have the first dance," and that Vanessa was the one to totally was like, get the band started. And then Matt and Heather find themselves on the dance floor, and of course Matt, using his super hearing, um, hears Vanessa say, "I have something to tell you," and Fitz is like, "No, not here, not now." Um, and Matt puts two and two together, and he figures out that it was Vanessa that ended up putting the hit out on Foggy, which makes a lot of sense because she did take over Fisk's operations while he was away, kind of recovering from being shot in the eye, and also being in the Echo series, being in where was that set? Oklahoma, might have been Oklahoma, dealing with Maya in the Echo series. So it makes a bit of sense. But Poindexter was able to find out their location. Oh, before I get to this, I should also say BB Urich also met up with the police chief and was talking to him. Police chief was like, I I liked what you wrote about the Muse killings, but I have to say it was weird that you identified the heroes as the task force when everyone and their mother knows it was Daredevil. And BB Urich was like, "Well, it's what I had to do." And the police chief was like, "Well, when did you become Fisk's PR manager?" And BB says, "Well, when did you become captain of the SS over there?" And police chief was like, "Task force wasn't me. It was all Fisk." And BB Urich starts to slowly contemplate that, and police chief was like, Fisk was the main person behind your uncle's murder, which is a nice little callback to, I believe, season 1 of the original Netflix show, in which Ben Urich was indeed punched to death by Wilson Fisk. And so the police chief was like, "I have every single file of all those bad cops on the task force. If you want to look at it, I wouldn't mind. And BB ends up giving her, or giving him her card, and it was like, there's an email on the back, and also says, not everything that I write is under my real name. So, ought to be very interesting. But back to it, Poindexter does find his way into the building. He ends up taking out a guard with like a, I don't like like a steak tong. It was a two-forked tong that he like stabbed in a dude's neck. Matt is able to hear him up on the balcony load the gun, and he steps into the line of fire. He saves Fisk's life and takes a shot in the shoulder. Of course, everyone freaks out. They run out of the building. Fisk and Vanessa get out. And I also love the fact that Fisk wore a white suit and had Matt's blood sprayed all over that suit. Another instance of Rabbit in a Snowstorm being ruined. And just like how Foggy was at the beginning of the season, Matt here towards the tail end of the season is shot in the shoulder, and that's where the episode ends. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in next week's finale. I'm very interested in seeing that. My assumption is Vanessa might send out the task force to try and deal with Daredevil, because she very clearly knows that he knows that she put out the hit on Foggy to get him killed. So she'll probably kind of convince Fisk, like, hey, why don't you, like, go after Matt with your task force? And that's when Matt and, my assumption, Punisher will just clear house with the task force, and it'll be now out in the open. And what happens after that, I have nary a clue. All I know is that I'm very excited for next week's finale. It's going to be so good. Some videos to look forward to in the future. I've been trying to record my Mania 41 fantasy booking, but yesterday my mic got unplugged, and I didn't know, so I basically had to scrap that recording. But I will get that video out here relatively soon. Also, I will be doing a retrospective on Andor Season 1 before Andor Season 2 comes out, and you best well know that I'm going to be doing episode reviews of Andor Season 2. Maybe not whole arc, because they are dropping 3 episodes per week. So I'll probably do like I did here, which is just episode by episode. But since they are dropping 3 episodes per day, then I'll probably do 3 reviews a day. So look forward to that as well. And of course, the Mission Impossible rewatch review series before Final Reckoning comes out in May. That will be coming out very, very soon as well. But yeah, episode 8 was really, really good. Like I said, I'm really excited for this finale. But until next week, guys, until our finale next week, take it easy.